If you have been living under a little rock, almost all fictional characters are less than a century old. Yes, fictional characters, like the characters we know and love, almost 99% of characters that have been created in the last century. Almost all of our culture that we know about today, fictional characters, have really been created in the past century. This has been due to advancements in technology like TV being created, obviously film being created. With these new mediums, new avenues, and new characters are created. Did as well. Most of this, there are older fictional characters, for example, the Greek gods and stuff, that are often used in modern day culture. But all fictional characters alive today are going to become public domain. Are there any fictional characters that will stand the test of time, kind of like Dracula, the Grimm fairy tales, and King Kong are just to name a few of characters that are considered timeless? Timelessness is something that's very strange, as most of our pop culture was created in the past 100 years. So most of our understanding about fictional characters is mostly due to the past 100 years. For example, Mario as a IP is only around like 40, almost like 40, around 40 years old. Okay, 40 to 50 years old. Okay, Mario first debuted in 1981, I think. So that would be around 45, 44 years old. This is an IP that is not that old. Okay, and most of the most recognizable characters of all time are less than 100 years old. Okay, this is why a lot of characters are still under copyright protection. Okay, but are there any characters that will stand the test of time? I'm thinking kind of like how a lot of things are. 99% of fictional characters. Well, if we go throughout the eons of time, are not gonna stand the test of time. Your favorite character will eventually be forgotten. Okay, this is inevitable to happen. Same thing with your favorite song. It is likely going to become forgotten. Of course, if inevitable an infinite meal amount of times, everything gets forgotten but gets repeated over and over and over again. The universe probably does go through a single amount of repetition, but our current characters in fictional areas. We'll be going over some contenders. Number one, Mickey Mouse is amongst the oldest of these characters on the list. Mickey Mouse has been around for nearly 100 years. Yes, very, very soon, Mickey Mouse will be around for 100 years. Okay, for example, Disney Animation basically had a 100th anniversary. Mickey Mouse, I think, it is, of course, a bit younger than Disney. Mickey Mouse was created a few years after. But Mickey Mouse is one of the most recognizable characters in the world. Unless the Disney brand disappears, I think Mickey Mouse will be a character that will still be used as well. This is a character that I think people will continue using even after the copyright, which already has expired for Steamboat Willie, but after for all the other versions of Mickey Mouse, I think 300 years from now, you'll still be seeing, we're going to make a Mickey book. Mickey is a character. I think the first and probably one of the more likely characters, and you can also include the cast of Mickey characters. These are characters that I think children will be playing with 200 to 300 years from now, heck, even 1,000 years. But new characters are always going to be created. Again, pop culture and fictional characters are a relatively new thing. Okay, that is the uncertainty of it. New characters are always going to come. But Mickey Mouse is kind of created as the start of it all. Okay, one of the big icons created. Okay, kind of like King Kong. Okay, most people probably have not seen the old King Kong movie, but King Kong keeps coming back because it's an IP and character that people do care about. Number two, A character that I would consider on the same vein as Mickey Mouse would be Mario from the Mario series. Mario is practically the face of gaming. No, it's not Jonesy from Fortnite or Crash Bandicoot. Mario is the face of video games. Mario saved the video game industry from dying. It was really Nintendo, but Mario is a character that saved the gaming industry from dying. Okay, we were. I think something will happen very similar to Mario when Mario goes public domain because Mario was created in 1981. I don't know how Japanese copyright law works, but eventually Mario will become a public domain character. Of course, Nintendo, along with Disney, will still be allowed to use a more updated version of Mario and claim it as a copyright, but eventually Mario, by the end of this century, will probably be a public domain character. But I think Mario, like, you can go to like the deep, like for example, similar to Mickey Mouse, you can go to the deepest reaches of Africa and people be wearing Mario clothes. That's how universal of a beloved character Mario is. They can really go to like the Central African Republic or the middle of or jungle in the DRC, and people are wearing Mario shirts. Obviously, it's because Mario is a character that I think everybody, kind of like Mickey Mouse, recognizes. I think Mario in the Mario series will kind of be like, kind of seen like how it is with the Greek gods and stuff, how it'll be continuing to be used thousands of years and capturing the imagination of millions of people in the future. Of course, if humanity still exists in the future, but it is assuming that humanity exists for like hundreds of thousands of years. Yeah, Mario will be a character that'll be used kind of like Mickey Mouse for years and years and years. I wouldn't be too surprised at all. Okay, this, of course, Mario games will be forgotten over time, but Mario as a character is gonna be existing. And Mario, of course, is not the only character in the Mario series. Again, kind of like of the Greek gods and, the Norse mythology and stuff. Mario is, of course, a branch. Of course, all the characters associated with Mario, all the major characters, obviously, similar to Mickey Mouse. I think, of course, because of Mario's popularity, of course, people are going to say, oh yeah, Mario, then there's Peach, Luigi, Toad, Bowser, kind of like a Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, Donald, Chip and Dale, and of course, Goofy and Pluto. Of course, Mario's going to carry these characters on his back, obviously. But Mario being kind of like, for example, Mario isn't as old as Mickey Mouse, okay? But Mario is a character that people will love by generation, and I don't see that changing anytime soon as well. Even after Miyamoto dies, which I think will probably be pretty soon because he is a pretty old man. I think he's like in his 70s. For example, the guy who created Dragon Ball Z just died, so it isn't in the realm of possibility. But of course, Mario, kind of like with Goku and Mickey Mouse outliving Disney, Mario's gonna character that's gonna foul out with Miyamoto. Kind of like Mickey Mouse is gonna foul out with Walt Disney. Mario is the face of video games, and again, I think games will still be inspired by the things Mario created. It'll be I think Mario is a character in the gaming in the history books as well, as I think in the future there will be studies of the history of video games, and of course Mario will come up as well, almost certainly. I think other characters that might pop up will be Master Chief from Halo, given, how Halo was a big impactful game on online gaming. Maybe Fortnite might pop up. Maybe, heck, Pokemon will obviously pop up as well, considering how much Pokemon has had an impact on the gaming industry. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if we'll go over the next one as well, which is Pokemon. So Pokemon as a brand, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if Pokemon stays around for a long, long time. Okay, Pokemon is just one of those things that just won't go away. Even like Pokemon very recently has gone through just as brand damaging games as Sonic 06 and got out just fine. Okay, Pokemon is a series that is so big and so massive. And yeah, I basically use Mario to segue into Pokemon because this is another IP I can see. Like, there's gonna be people who are gonna copy Pokemon. Okay, there's been Power, Digimon, Monster Rancher, but none have recaptured the success and staying power of the Pokemon franchise. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the future. Pokemon kind of, was a massive thing. I think in the terms of gaming history books, because I wouldn't be surprised if we have gaming history books like, for example, 2050, Mario and Pokemon are going to be series that will be studied basically in depth, and heck, there will probably be in-depth histories for Pokemon as well, and the IP as well. Even if there's no new Pokemon games, I think that's because of how important Pokemon was to basically the gaming industry, becoming one of the highest selling games of all time. Pokemon, of course, will always be in the history of video games. I wouldn't be too surprised at that. People are going to remember Pokemon probably for a long, long time. It's gonna be another IP that's gonna far outlive its creators, like Mario and like Mickey Mouse. Number 4. So we have Batman. Batman has basically been the most popular superhero since he's created. Okay, I think Batman will remain a popular superhero for centuries to come. And why is this? It is because, yes, Batman doesn't really have any superpowers. He is just a normal man. Actually, he's actually a rich man. But using his wealth, he adorns the cape and becomes Batman and fights crime. Obviously, this is a character that obviously millions of people, including myself and millions of more, like. Batman, I think, is a character that, will be iconic to years to come as well. So, yeah, DC and Marvel superheroes. Most of these Marvel and DC superheroes, a lot of them are going to die out. Okay? A lot of them are not going to be remembered. But Batman is a very old character. He was created, I think, in the 1940s, along with Superman as well. We can also go into Superman as well. Yeah, we're just going to pull up this picture of Batman and Superman. These are the two characters that DC are never going to die. Okay? I think hundreds of years later, Superman will be still representing the image of hope, and Batman, of course, will be Batman. Man, basically, these two characters are going to be remembered for years to come. Okay, and you can also include other characters like the Flash and Wonder Woman as well in the DC slate as well. But I think, kind of like with old mythology, superheroes have kind of replaced that. And I think with similar to old mythology, it's still going to see iterations of Batman hundreds of years in the future, Superman, as these characters will have represented some point in history, kind of like the Greek gods and, Roman stuff and all that stuff. Here, it will be seen as a part of history. I wouldn't be surprised if there's in centuries to come, there was a study into comic books and the history of comic book characters and superheroes as well. Kind of like how some people still, talk about World War II or study the Greek gods and stuff. And Batman will still be capturing people's imaginations, just like how the Greek gods and the Asgardians and stuff and other mythologies capture our minds today. I wouldn't be surprised if, the main Justice League cast still kind of, takes our minds kind of like how the old do. But we have mostly besides Nintendo, we have mostly talked about Western characters, okay? Outside of Mario and Pokemon, we have mostly talked about Western characters. We're going to go over to the East as well. So, Dragon Ball Z is one of the most popular animes in the world. Of course, that's very debatable of One Piece. But Dragon Ball Z, you can't have no One Piece without Dragon Ball Z, okay? Without Dragon Ball and the Dragon Ball IP. So, Goku and Dragon Ball as a IP is going to, of course, far outlive the creator who just died, Toriyama, R.I.P. Toriyama. You create a series that has basically going to stand the test of time, obviously. Toriyama, of course, is not the best writer in the world, obviously, but Dragon Ball and Goku have left imprints on generations. And of course, Goku is the newest character we have talked about in this video. I think Mario, I don't know. Yeah, I think Mario is younger. No, it's older, not younger. Mario is older, but anime is a more recent thing. Okay, anime and manga. Japan. Manga and anime became popular in the 1980s, and Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z became popular in the 80s and 90s. Okay, Goku practically represents the whole entire manga and anime. Yes, there are people who will debate that with the big three, but the big three wouldn't exist without Goku. It's kind of like Mario. Sonic wouldn't. That's why you didn't mention Sonic in this video. Sonic would not exist without Mario. Okay, Sonic will probably be popular as well. Kind of like how I think that Naruto, Luffy, One Piece, and what was the other one? I think it was Bleach. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, but yeah, the big three of anime. Obviously, of course, Pokemon's another huge anime, but in terms of Japanese IPs that are not made by Nintendo, I think Dragon Ball is probably the series that people go remember the most, especially in Latin America, where Goku's practically like the second Z coming of Jesus now, where you have if you know someone from Latin America, you could they basically like worship Goku, like he's the great, like he's basically Latin America's Superman, okay. And we already explained of Batman and Superman how they captured the minds of the West. Well, with the East and of course Latin America, Goku captured the minds of millions. And Latin America is still going to exist in the future. So basically Goku will still be popular, especially among Latin America, which is the big reason. Of course, Japan and Korea and the East as well. But especially Latin America, especially after the copyright of Goku expires. Yeah, Latin America is going to be, it's going to basically be Latin America's, Superman or Greek gods, Dragon Ball. In 10,000 years from now, you're going to have people in Latin America making stories about Goku because Goku is no longer a copyrighted character. And yeah, that wouldn't be surprised if Latin America, even if the rest of the world forgot who Goku was, Latin America would still be like, oh my god, Goku's the best, basically. And even when we look at Google search now, almost every country in the who searches up Goku or Dragon Ball are from Latin America as well. And of course, once people start, and of course, there's gonna probably be study of anime, Japanese manga, and Japanese things in general. They're of course gonna come up with Goku, Dragon Ball, and the influences it has, even amongst the casuals. Okay, most stuff like almost every anime and Shonen anime would not exist without Goku. It would not exist without Dragon Ball. So it's kind of like with Mario. Okay, Mario and Goku were created around the same time, but both characters had to have massive impact over their, area. Goku was anime and manga, and Mario was video games. Next character. The most recent character we have to talk about, or we have talked about so far, is SpongeBob. I don't think SpongeBob is going away. SpongeBob is just too popular of a character. He is SpongeBob is a simple soul. Yeah, it really is. All the characters are you have all these theories about SpongeBob, but it's just I know they ruined the newer series of SpongeBob as well, especially with the Spongeverse bull crap that no one liked. Okay, did anyone even like the Spongeverse? I didn't even watch that. I'm not gonna waste my time watching the Spongeverse. But in terms of characters, SpongeBob is a very iconic and beloved character. Same thing with the SpongeBob cast, and SpongeBob, cartoons basically became popular before the 90s. You could talk about stuff like Bugs Bunny and stuff. I think those characters, we'll segue into those characters next. But SpongeBob is basically the face of an entire era of cartoons, okay? Without SpongeBob, basically a lot of these formulaic cartoons that are, wouldn't be too popular, okay? SpongeBob was kind of one of the first, massive formulaic cartoons. You did have formulaic cartoons before, like Tom and Jerry and stuff, but they didn't really have much of a storyline. It was basically Tom beats up Jerry, or wacky stuff ensues. Like SpongeBob, every episode has its own storyline, own plot, its own characters. I know there were cartoons before that were popular, and SpongeBob, I think, is the first character of, let's just say 2000s. I know SpongeBob was created in 1999, but I know there were cartoons that were created before 1999, but SpongeBob was the one that created the modern cartoon format. Okay, the modern cartoon format was changed, of course, a lot to make it more safe, obviously, because reasons. But almost a lot of the major cartoons of the 2000s and 2010s draw a lot of influence of the SpongeBob series. The episodic nature, the, recurring events in every episode, and stuff like that. And characters that are likable and are relatable for, everyone had a character. Yes, there are people who relate to Mr. Krabs, even though he is a scumbag. But yeah. Yeah, I call Mr. Krabs a scumbag because that's what he is. He wants all your money. He is a money hungry piece of. Okay. But yeah, SpongeBob, I think, is a character that will be remembered for a long, long time. I think children will be looking up to SpongeBob as a character for a long time. Gotta have a look at the other characters on this list. Next character. So I am not the biggest fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, I know. You're like, oh, you're a man, but you don't like the Turtles that much. But there's a series that kids love. This is a series, IP, okay, that kids love. There's always a reason why every decade there's a new Turtles movie, a new Turtles cartoon. It is because these characters are very liked. Okay, kind of like with Batman and Superman. I wouldn't be too surprised if people be using these characters. Of course, I don't know too much about the IP because I don't really have consumed much media of them of the Turtles. Yes, I don't consume every single piece of media on the planet. Yes, I am not that person who likes every single thing on the planet. But that basically means I don't watch Turtles. Okay, I don't watch any Turtles. I know my brother did. I know my sister liked the Turtles. So obviously, these are characters that people do love. Basically, kind of like Batman and Superman. And we'll get to Marvel in a moment. We'll get to Marvel characters in a moment as well. But I think as it stands, like, of course, it's very easy to do Turtles. You don't have to fit into any, ethnic or racial stereotypes. Like kind of like a Mario. It's kind of like an Italian stereotype, or Goku is, based off of Japan, or you can go over, but SpongeBob, kind of like SpongeBob, the Turtles, they're turtles. Everybody loves turtles, okay? Turtles are swords and blades, okay? And, of course, the turtles are going to be repeated for decades. Of course, as much as I want to say, we're going to bring it back turtles again, there's a reason why they make back the turtles every decade. It's because they know they want the newest generation to watch to get invested with this series. We don't know how long the Turtles will last. I do not know. I do not see into the future. Say if we have any of these characters, but we're going over the most likely characters that will probably survive as pieces of pop culture. Of course, pop culture is a relatively recent phenomenon, obviously. But we're going over like all of the biggest ones. And Turtles, I think, had a consistent fan base, okay? Of course, the Turtles is not going to bring $1 billion at the box office like Mario did, or heck, Batman and Superman would. But obviously, no matter where you go, you see kids wearing Turtles clothes or backpacks. So obviously, these characters are connecting to the youngest generations, no matter what, as well. That is about the Turtles as well. Next thing, in terms of gaming, okay, we're going back to gaming. Of course, gaming is a relatively new medium, but Minecraft is going to be here to stay for a long, long time, okay? I know some people may be upset at this, but Minecraft is probably the most recent massive phenomenon we had, comparable to Mickey Mouse or something, okay? People are still playing Minecraft. People still talk about Minecraft. Of course, we don't want to talk about Minecraft YouTubers. As we know, every single Minecraft YouTuber turns out to be a bad person. Or, of course, eventually gets sick of YouTube and leaves. But Minecraft as an IP, as a series. Of course, Minecraft, we'll be using the Minecraft Creeper as an example then, okay? Which is the face of Minecraft. I think Minecraft as an IP will stay around for a long, long time, especially even after copyright expires for Minecraft and its characters. Basically, people have free reign to do whatever they want with the Minecraft series. Of course, maybe just butchering the Minecraft games and making them completely pointless, or maybe finally giving people updates people want, like adding deer. Oh wait, I don't think anyone really cares about deer, like or finally adding capybaras to Minecraft, okay, or something like that, okay. But Minecraft is of course be like, kind of like the Turtles or Batman, Superman. Kids are gonna still be like, oh, it's Minecraft, and yeah, basically we don't really see what's in the future, but I think out of all of the newer series, especially game series like FNAF, okay, Minecraft, especially when in the history of gaming, will definitely be in the history books in terms of gaming, okay? Minecraft, kind of like Pokemon, had such a massive, massive impact over gaming. Gaming historians and people who study the history of gaming, because I think they're going to be gaming historians. It's going to be people who study the history of gaming, the history of video games. I think it'll be an actual profession in the future. Okay, Minecraft is gonna be something that's gonna be kept in the history books. Basically, there's a series that will probably be kept in the history books as well. Minecraft is gonna be one of them. Okay, kind of like with Pokemon and Mario and Halo. Okay, and Call of Duty. Okay, or maybe not Call. Oh yeah, probably Call of Duty. But yeah, Halo, because of what Halo did for multiplayer games and basically created the idea. Call of Duty basically popularized Mario. Basically, of course, Mario, and you have Pokemon, and there's a lot of history in the past 30 years. Okay, oh well, of course, the rise of Fortnite, obviously, maybe that's going to be a massive historical moment as well. But yeah, and of course, the gaming crash in 1985, 1983. I think the next character, simply because of gaming history alone, is Pac-Man. Heck, even Google, they have Pac-Man for free. But Pac-Man is a character that I think is basically because of gaming history. It's the first truly iconic video game character. Okay, Pac-Man was of course created before the Mario series. And heck, you can cut a pizza and call Pac-Man for crying out loud. But yeah, Pac-Man will basically be, it's a very simple game. You basically eat all the dots and eat the ghosts. Okay, yes, there have been Pac-Man games that were created that don't really do too well. But again, 99% of people know, 90% of people who know Pac-Man that are not like die-hard Pac-Man fans know him because of the arcade game. Okay, know him as the arcade game. Okay, the arcade series. Okay, that's what people know Pac-Man for. And obviously, Pac-Man is a very important character. We're speaking of the history of video games, like with Minecraft. Pac-Man is, of course, one of the oldest and most iconic video game characters ever made. Even if Pac-Man games don't really sell that much copies, Pac-Man is basically in the history books already. So, kind of like Mario and Pokemon and Minecraft. Okay, basically, these characters are going to be in the history books. Speaking of history books, Mickey Mouse's rivals. So basically, in the 50s and 40s, Mickey Mouse and Looney Tunes basically were rival cartoons. Okay, the Looney Tunes is not as old as Mickey Mouse. Of course, Mickey Mouse was created first, and of course, Warner Bros. Still owns the rights to Looney Tunes. But of course, once the copyright expires, people are gonna do a lot of wacky crap with the Looney Tunes. Okay, it's gonna be open season with Mickey Mouse. Okay, all the YouTube poops or skits. But I think kind of like Bugs Bunny and all of his little group, the Looney Tunes. Yeah, of course, I think people will be making it. It's kind of like already history already. If you study, there'll probably be pop culture study overall. And there'll be sections of it like the video game study, television, movies, as well. And of course, I think Looney Tunes probably will be in the history of pop culture, as similar to Mickey Mouse, because these are characters that had influences over generations and generations of people. These are series that they keep bringing back for younger generations as well. These are characters that people will recognize at a very early age, kind of similar to all these other characters on this list. It can also include Tom and Jerry into this category as well, as Tom and Jerry is basically just the classic cat versus mouse, obviously. And of course, it's pretty hilarious to see Tom be beat up. by Jerry because Tom does stupid things or tries to capture Jerry. But obviously, kind of like Looney Tunes, a lot of these really old cartoon series are going to become a part of like the history books and stuff. And I think that history books will be moved on to online. But of course, if people want to study like the early cartoons and stuff, the early stuff, Tom and Jerry will probably stop alongside Looney Tunes and Mickey Mouse, obviously, with early cartoons. Same thing with video games. Well, you see Mario, Sonic as well. Because I think the whole Sega Genesis versus Nintendo thing will also be a part of gaming history. And we'll also go into a segue of Sonic as well. Because Sonic may not be the most successful brand, kind of like Pac-Man and in the world. But of course, Sonic is already known as like the rival to Nintendo. You see like stores and cinemas like Sonic branded stuff. Like it's really too common to see Sonic branded stuff everywhere as well. Kind of similar to Mario. I think the whole Sega versus Nintendo thing of the 90s will probably be in the history books as well. Wouldn't be too surprising, and it is a pretty big moment for video games and the development and history of video games. I think very early video game history will kind of be how people review ancient Egypt history. It will be something that will be very revered among the gaming community, and especially future gaming community. As the decades and centuries go past, these characters that were created in the early video game history, especially Mario, Sonic, Link, and other very old video game characters. We can go over all of these other characters like Link and stuff, but we don't want to make the video too long. We only made the video 41 minutes long, but basically all these characters in the very early gaming history, basically it's kind of like the ancient Egypt where people will be obsessing over it. People will still be using these characters centuries later. Same thing with early anime, shonen anime like Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach as well. You can also see the same thing about cartoons like SpongeBob. But now let's go over the last thing for today. So we touched DC. But what about the other side? The Marvel Comics. Are there any Marvel characters that will still be popular? I think there are several. The first and most obvious is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a character that a lot of people can relate to. It's kind of like the Batman of the Marvel universe. No matter what characters come, Spider-Man will still be amongst the most popular Marvel characters. It's kind of like Batman and Superman. Okay? And of course, the Hulk. Because people want to see a big green man beating up things. Okay? These two characters, I think, will be kind of like the face of Marvel. Kind of like how Batman and Superman are the face of DC. Okay? Or how Goku is seen as the face of anime. Or Mario is seen as the face of video games. It's just expected that these types of characters that are kind of like the face of something will continue to live on in people's memories and be passed down. The IPs and characters will be passed down especially after copyright expires. But yeah, that's it about this video here. So what do you think about this video? Do you have any other characters you think will survive till, basically humanity disappears? I think most fictional characters will disappear and be forgotten. I'm not too surprised. For example, there are tons of fictional characters and IPs and stories that are on the verge of becoming forgotten. Okay, that are becoming forgotten because of course I think only like the best selling, the most popular characters will stay relevant. There are many more honorable mentions they could mention, or characters that could be mentioned in the second part of the series. Kirby from the Kirby series, I think because of his simplistic design and people just think he's cute. And also being associated with the Nintendo brand, obviously. Star Wars being we really probably touched movies all too much, but Star Wars, obviously. We can make a whole part 2 of this, obviously, as well, if this gets any views. But the whole Star Wars series can be mentioned. That IP definitely has a place in the film. The War of the Rings, obviously, will be a very popular book. Harry Potter, and many, many more IPs. I really only think the most famous will probably survive. And of course, any new IPs that might become famous in the future. So yes, we are actually living in a very interesting time in history. We have We used to just have like, oh, we live in a farm, it's boring life, but now we have fictional characters. We have characters that people can relate to and empathize with, even if they're not real. Okay, we have characters that will continue to entertain people for centuries to come. Okay, and it'll be continued to remembered and be passed on over and over and over again. Okay, I think that yes, I think that our current era of pop culture will be studied extensively in the future by future historians. I think it's almost a fact as well. Kind of like how future historians, kind of a lot of them love to study the Norse mythology and stuff. Modern pop culture will kind of be studied very similarly. Kind of like how, so I remember there was a video I watched. I didn't watch the video. I got recommended like the death of mythology and stuff. Well, I think the modern day myth is a superhero and pop culture characters. People always want characters to look up to. Kind of like how we used to have gods to look up to. But now we have fictional characters that basically replaced these gods. So yeah, do you think any fictional characters will be remembered in the future? And it's really a psychological thing to think of. What characters are truly timeless? But I do think this current era of pop culture will be studied. I think there'll be characters that will be more studied and series that are more studied than others, obviously as well. But yeah, most fictional characters are less than 100 years old. Just think about that. Most of our pop culture is less than 100 century old. Okay, for example, Mickey Mouse, the oldest character on this list, just entered public domain. Okay, that's how much. Maybe I'll contest this theory when I, inevitably come back and reincarnate and then see if my theories are true. But yeah, I don't see a saying the test of time. Yeah. That's a given. Okay, I probably won't be in the history books, even though I want to be. But maybe one day that will change. Goodbye.